Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Thursday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. So I have had a crazy day, like I'm sure I say every single time, but I feel like every day gets even crazier. So I got off work, and then I came home, and my kids picked me up, and we had to drive to Scottsdale to look at the hotel room that we're having our daughter's baby shower at the weekend after the retreat. And then we did a little bit of shopping, and I literally just got home probably 20 minutes ago, ate a burrito, and came out here to do the Facebook Live. So, yeah, I'm pretty pooped. I'm sure everybody else is too after a crazy work day, but I'm super excited to be here with you guys tonight. I have another fun card for you. My kind of idea behind it was to make a gift box, but a card, so it kind of has the bow sticking out of the squares. So it's not really a box, but kind of looks like a box, I think, I hope. So anyway, hello everybody. Good evening, Darlene. If you're just logging on, say hello so I know you're joining us. Hello, Stephanie. Good evening. So just a few little updates. Today is the last day for the free shipping. Sorry, it's covering my head. I don't know which way to walk. Today's the last day. It ends at 11 o'clock Arizona time, and that's midnight Salt Lake City time, or 2 a.m. Eastern time. I don't know. I get confused at all of that Eastern time. But it ends tonight at 11 o'clock Arizona time. So if you haven't gotten your free shipping order in, please do so today. Otherwise, after today, you'll have to pay for shipping. And it's literally a 10% savings. So anytime we do classes, retreats, anything, it's 10% on top of whatever you spend is shipping. So if you're doing a $100 order, that saves you $10. So it's $10 more in product. So that ends today at 11 o'clock Arizona time. I just wanted to remind everybody. And I still have the BOGO going on. There is a link in the Facebook Live for the BOGO. So if you are placing an order, you might as well get something for free out of the BOGO as well. So that's really all I have to say. We're just going to chit chat for another minute or two until some more friends log on. Let's see, Jane logged on, Valerie, Jill, hello ladies. So hopefully you guys had a great day. I said in the beginning I had a crazy day, like every day of my life. I feel like my husband's like, are you going to ever slow down? I was like, no, I don't think so. It keeps us young, right? Just keep on moving. So hello, Teresa. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and point you down, and hopefully we do not go over today. So today's card, I will bring in the cards that we're going to be doing. We're actually doing 2 cards. Hopefully we can get through them on the Facebook Live. But I didn't realize when I created these cards that the scalloped squares retired. So I did modify it a little bit. I didn't change my original designs because I literally just got home from heading into Scottsdale. I didn't change my design for the Facebook Live, but the ones we're going to be making, I did change. And it's the same colors that I used. I just swapped the colors. So I thought it was super fun. And this is what I was talking about as my gift box is on the front of the card with the little bow sticking up the top. That's kind of my theory behind it. We'll see if you guys think so too. So that is what we're going to be playing with. Let's see, who logged on? Barbara, Anna, hello ladies. So these are the items we're going to be playing with today. So this framelit, this die, actually was from a couple years ago, and they've kept it. It was from a Halloween set, and it is still in the catalog, and I love these dies. They are so pretty and fun. I love this little picture frame. It reminds me of a picture frame. I'm not quite sure if it is, but I loved these dies, and they are called, as I drop them all, Ornate Frames dies. Let's put these all back in here so I don't drop them. Somebody is texting me. Don't they realize that I am on a Facebook Live? Okay, there we go. So I think I'm up on my computer. So that is the dies that we're going to be using. And I brought in the Biggest Wish. I need masculine birthday cards. I do not have very many. And my daughter reminded me of that when she sent me a text saying, I think I've given my dad the same Father's Day card the last 8 years. So I need masculine cards. So that is why I decided to do them in more masculine colors. And yes, we are not using any purple or any pink today. Crazy, right? We always use purple and pink, but we're not today. So those are the stamp sets and the dies. So let me bring in, oh, and I am using the Wildcat. I don't think that's the name of it, but it's in the Wildcat bundle, the die. We're using that one as well. Okay, so what you'll need is a piece of, the colors that I'm using are, or not Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana and Pacific Point. So this piece of Pacific Point is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it right in half. And this is Coastal Cabana, and I scored it, or I cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have 4 little strips, and these guys are 3/4 of an inch wide by 5 inches long. And these are just going to get layered on top of that piece. And then I have 3 squares. This is 1 3/4 square. This is, sorry, the description, the specific measurements. This is 3-inch square. This is 2 3/4 inch square, and this is a 1 1/2 inch square. That's what it is. But all the dimensions are in the comments as well. So let's start with this little guy. So these 4 strips are going to line up perfectly on this layering piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to lay them on here just to kind of get a visual of where I'm going to put a tiny bit of adhesive, because once we run it through the embossing machine, it's literally going to secure it a lot better. So I'm just going to grab some Tombow glue, take the little booger off the end of it so it'll work, and I'm just going to pick one up at a time. So do you guys need masculine cards as well? I really don't make too many of them, and I do need them. I have lots of son-in-laws and my husband and my brother-in-law. So yeah, we do need masculine cards. So I'm just going to layer these guys on. It doesn't have to be anything perfect. I think one of mine, there was a little bit more space in between than the other ones. Nobody's really going to notice, so I didn't measure this to be absolutely perfect. We are just going to wing it. I think those are the best kind of cards sometimes. Ones you just wing. And I'm just going to lay this one on that side. And I went ahead and cut the dies prior, so I'm just going to bring in the embossing machine so we can emboss this guy. So let me push this aside. Let me scooch it back a little bit so the embossing machine isn't right in your nose. Here's the lovely embossing machine. One of my girlfriends that came to the BOGO actually just got this, so I'm super excited for her to play with it. So what I'm going to do is, there's a line at the bottom of the die. That is meaning that this is the front side. So this is what's going to emboss. If you flipped it around, it would deboss. So I'm just going to line the edge of my paper up to that line, and that will help you make sure that your spots or dots or whatever you're doing is even. That's why that cute little line is there. Okay, so I'm just going to run this through, and you don't have to run it twice. I just do because, I don't know. I just do. So there we go. Let's get the embossing machine out of the way. And then let me scooch you back in so you guys can see a little bit up close. And when I pull this out, hopefully you guys can see the dimension that it gives it. It just gives it a little bit more pizzazz. I guess that's what I would call it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my cardstock. I'm going to fold it in half. Crease it really good, and then just start attaching. And I do have some of the basic white, and it's 4 by 5 1/4 as well. And I'm just going to put that on the inside because it's a dark card base. If it's dark, I like to put a piece of basic white on the inside, and then it gives you something to write your sentiment on. I do really like writing with a white pen. Whew, that was difficult to say. So sometimes when it's a black cardstock, I really do like to leave it blank because I like to write with a white pen. Okay, so I just attached the white on the inside, and now we can start decorating the outside. So these are the Ornate dies, and I went ahead and ran them through because I needed 4 of them. I just didn't want everybody to sit and watch me do it. And I'm just going to take my paper snips, and I'm going to snip this in half. Doesn't have to be anything perfect. If you are a perfectionist, you can definitely use your paper trimmer and do this, but it really doesn't have to be anything perfect because you're not going to see it. Okay, so now we have 4 pieces. So I'm going to grab a piece of the Coastal Cabana and a piece of the Pacific Point, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom piece, and I'm just going to offset this one on top of it. I wanted it to look like a bow on top of your box. So there we go. So I'm going to push the card out of the way. I'm going to lay that down. And now what I did, the other cards, we're actually going to use the same pieces, but we're going to swap it. So this piece on the next card is going to be Coastal Cabana on top of the Pacific Point. So this one is the Pacific Point that's going to be on top of the Coastal Cabana. So I just offset the colors so it wasn't tone on tone. Even though I do enjoy tone on tone, I thought this one looked a little bit cuter. So I'm just going to set this right up top. There we go. Let that dry just for a quick second. And I wasn't a huge fan of these little pieces sticking out the side because I didn't really feel like it looked like the bow on top. So I just took my paper snips and went right underneath the paper and cut those off. You could totally leave them if you wanted to, but I thought it looked a little bit cuter having them taken off. So there is our base to our card box. So I'm going to bring in the basic white, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping. I'm going to bring in the birthday, my little dots. I love the little dots, and the happy. So on this one, I'm going to do Pacific Point for the birthday. I'm going to ink this up real good. And I'm just going to come down and stamp birthday at the bottom. It literally fits perfectly. Hopefully I can get it straight and not have my head in the camera. Okay, so there we go. And when you have a larger image like this, it usually picks up the piece that you're stamping with. And when it's a larger image, I sometimes just rub my finger over the back of it. And that just helps make sure the ink has transferred onto your piece of paper. There we go. There's birthday. So I'm going to bring in the Coastal Cabana. And I'm going to stamp the happy in Coastal Cabana. So I'm just offsetting the colors. Oh, I wonder if I need to re-ink my Coastal Cabana. It looks a little light, but it's going to have to work for today because I didn't bring my re-inker over. Oh, that's actually not tragic. And let's do the little dots in Pacific Points. And let's clean this off and do a couple little dots in Coastal Cabana. Let's see. We're just going to put a couple right there. Right off the edge. There we go. So now we have both colors of dots. So we are done with the ink for right now. I am going to close it because I am going to put my finger in it or my arm. So now we can start attaching our layers. Well, if I can pick it up, there we go. There's my glue. Hello, Heather. So now I just put some adhesive on the back. I'm going to layer this guy on. I'm going to bring in the piece that we just put the little border on. Put some more adhesive. There we go. Super easy and cute, right? Now we're going to flip that whole guy over and bring in some of our dimensionals. I did put a dimensional underneath the layer that we put on top just because I didn't want it to be too thick on the edge and it wobble. I don't think it would wobble, but I don't know. That was my theory. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. Get those in the trash so they don't end up on the floor. And now we can put this right in the center. Oops, I got to scoot the card down a little bit. Sorry about that. There we go. Easy, right? Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And then the inside. Super cute, and it's a masculine card, which I don't do very many of them. So let's bring in the opposite colors. So I did everything the exact same. I just swapped the colors. So we have Coastal Cabana card base. We have the Pacific Point, the basic white, and these are opposite as well. So we're going to do the same exact thing. And if you're just joining, this is my idea of a gift card box card. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on the Coastal Cabana. I'm going to offset the Pacific Point. There we go. Thank you, Darlene. It's crazy just what stamps, ink, and paper can create. It literally still boggles my mind, and I've been doing this for many years. Who would have thought just taking your die, cutting it in half, would make such a cute little border on the top of your card? So I'm just going to come in and trim these guys off, and you don't have to do this. I just thought it looked a little bit nicer, besides all the shrapnel that gets left. Okay, so I am actually just going to go ahead and attach this piece as well since I have it out. And that can quickly dry while we do a little bit of stamping. So there's that. So the first card we did the birthday and Pacific Point. So let's swap that out. Let me just make sure my stamp is clean so I don't contaminate with the different inks. So we are going to do Coastal Cabana in birthday. This is where it gets a little confusing. And if you stamped it in the same one, it really wouldn't be tragic either. So I'm going to come down here to the very bottom. It literally just fits perfectly. I'm going to flip it over and just give it a good little rub. A good little rub. Oh, that's kind of funny. Okay, so there's the birthday. And let's bring in the Pacific Points. Now, I did already wipe this down, but had I not wiped it, we used this in the Coastal Cabana first. So if I would have accidentally stamped this in Pacific Point, it wouldn't have been tragic because you're lighter to darker. You just never want to do darker to lighter because otherwise you will mess up your ink pads. And you can wipe it off, but it does stain a little bit. So you can always go lighter to darker, but you never go darker to lighter. So I'm just going to stamp happy birthday, or happy. There we go. Let me rinse that off. I have my little pad beside me. Then let's grab some of our little doodads. And let's stamp a couple. Clean it off. And let me stamp some in the Coastal Cabana. I keep saying Bermuda Bay. Bermuda Bay would have actually been gorgeous with this card also. And even Coastal Cabana and the Gorgeous Grape. Oh my gosh, those colors together are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so now let's flip this over, bring this back in. Let's attach this. And while that's doing a quick little dry, we will bring in the card base. Again, all of these are cut 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it right in half at 5 1/2. So I'm going to open it up and put in my piece of basic whites. Oh, look, we are definitely not going to go over tonight. I walked into the house last night or Tuesday from our Facebook Live, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I went over so long. And my husband's like, those ladies are going to get mad at you. You got to start doing just your 30 minutes. It's like, I know, I felt terrible. Okay, so this one is going to go on top. There we go. And I'm going to flip this over, grab my mini or my dimensionals, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on. And you probably don't need 6 dimensionals, but why not? If you're going to go through all the trouble of making a beautiful card, we want to make sure it doesn't sink in the middle. And you could really put this sideways. Let's do one sideways, just for giggles. Okay, there you go. There's your same concept in different color schemes. And this one is Night and Navy and, oh, not Cajun Craze. Is it Cajun Craze? No, Cajun Craze. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot the Bumblebee. Oh my Lord. So this is Bumblebee and Night and Navy. And these ones are Pacific Point and Coastal Cabana. And we do have a couple minutes, so if anybody wants to just hang out, I did already pre-do most of these. I just have to kind of glue and put the image or the stamps on it. We can hang out and do it, or if you've got other big hot plans going on. You've already seen the 2, but feel free. If you're making 2 cards, why not just make 4, right? It's easy as that. And that's actually exactly what I was thinking to myself when I was creating this. I was like, well, I'm already making 2 for the Facebook Live. I need masculine cards, so why not just make 2 more? And it didn't take any more time cutting all of this out because I was already cutting for a couple. So let's grab my snips, trim this off. And maybe the last one, if we have time to put it together, maybe the last one I'll leave on. Just show that it's not tragic either way. Put some dimensionals. Peel these off. And let's do this one this way. Let's just be a little wild and crazy. So let's see, the Coastal Cabana. So Coastal Cabana needs to be birthday. Let me make sure this is cleaned off. I think I used Coastal Cabana on the last one, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So ink that up. Put birthday right at the bottom. That one looks pretty good. I probably should have picked it up, like I said in the beginning, and rubbed the B in the eye a little bit more, but it still works. Thank you, Anna. Hopefully you guys like it. Oh, thank you. I know I felt terrible that I went over. I really try not to, but that card was way perfect. Good thing I didn't make 2. Good thing I wasn't super adventurous and decided to do more than 1. So let's just grab these guys and throw a couple. I think doing little tiny little doodads, I literally don't even know what they're called, really just help accent your card. Just gives it a little bit of pizzazz. So there you go. Let me just glue this together. And we have done almost 4 cards. There we go. Lay this in the center. And bam. Looky there, you've got another masculine birthday card. And it really doesn't even have to be masculine. It could go for anybody that loves blue. Now I do not mind blue. My whole bathroom in the house is blue. Blue, not sequins, blue glitter. So if you were at the house during bingo, I actually show everybody because it's probably my most favorite room in the house. And it is probably these color blues all together glitter. Ceiling to floor glitter. I know the ladies were saying I should have did the craft room bathroom like that, but I wasn't sure, and I probably should have. I probably won't now because it was not fun to do. It was a hot mess, and I should have done it before we put everything into the bathroom. So anyway, we're just finishing up this last card. So hopefully I'm not annoying and you guys are still enjoying it. So I'm going to flip this over. All we have to do is stamp a little and we're done. And there's all of our cards, and we stayed within our 30 minutes. And I chit-chatted a little bit earlier, so kind of worked out. So this is definitely a duplicatable card. Just cutting some squares, running your framelits, and stamping your images. So this one we need birthday in Pacific Point. So I would recommend doing all of like your Pacific Point colors, all your birthdays. I would recommend doing those first, or doing it all at one time instead of how I'm flipping back and forth, because that's how you get yourself confused, which isn't the biggest deal if you do stamp the wrong color. But if you're trying to make a theme, then it's kind of irritating sometimes when it doesn't pan out like you are wanting it to. So if you're making these in bulk like I do, I would recommend stamping all of your birthdays first in the color you want and then moving on from there. There we go. Looky there. Less than 30 minutes, 26 minutes we've been on our Facebook Live, and we just created 4 cards. And you could put some of our rhinestones on here. You could color them with our blender pens to add a little bit more pizzazz to this card if you wanted to. Or I like it just the way it is with a little bit of the embossing folder on the back side. Hopefully you guys can still see the embossing folder. So there we go. So we have, there's the 2 in Pacific Point. Here's the 2 in Coastal Cabana. And here's the 2 in Night of Navy and Bumblebee. I love blue and yellow together. So there you go. There's all your cards. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's live. It was fast, cheap, and easy. Woohoo! That's what I like. So thank you again for joining me. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out. Do remember that the free shipping ends tonight. So if you haven't gotten your order in, please do so soon so you can maximize on your savings. And if you don't want to, no worries. I just thought I'd put it out there again. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. If not, we'll talk to you guys later, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday for another live. And I did send an email out about card class for July 3rd. I know it's a holiday weekend. We are not going anywhere, so we'll be home. And if you want to join for card class, we are having it. So please feel free to reach out. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.